Morning everyone, this is Lane again, looking at our thickness planer, which is number 3 on our breakout procedure here. A little bit of theory on terms of how the machine works and what the buttons do here. So this button right here, obviously says start, that's the start button, but it only starts a certain part of the machine, which is the actual blades here. Okay, the blades are under that there, that only starts that. This button here will start the roller, hold down rollers, okay? Which if you look over here on the side view of it, the hold down rollers are found right here and on this side, okay? The reason why they're there is to pinch the material down, pinch it down, all right, so it keeps a constant thickness there, and then on the other side will hold it down too while it's going through. Now, saying that, there is a certain minimum length that we need for this thickness planer. And that minimum length is 12 inches, okay? So stating that this material needs to be over 12 inches to go through the machine. Otherwise, if it's not 12 inches, this space here is roughly about 11 inches. So if it doesn't have enough length to go through there, it will get caught and bounce up here, cause damage to your blade, and your piece of wood will be toast, okay? So keep in mind, every piece that goes through the thickness planer must be 12 inches. Okay, so we are now ready to go. The piece of material that we had was illustrated on the jointer. So we have one face and one edge. This corner should be to 90 degrees from our jointer, okay? And I don't really care too much, like I said before, if there's still some machine marks there from our piece, from our previous machine, okay? So what we want to do is when we put that piece in there, we want to put this down, okay? But before that, we want to make sure, we want to find out the thickness of our material. So we want to use a tape measure and decide and figure out what the thickest part of it. So at one time, the piece was like this. So I've shaved the edges off, and now the middle should be thicker than the outsides. So I want to measure the widest point of that board. So I am looking at 1 1/16", okay? Once I have that measurement, I can make some modifications to the machine now. So over here, you'll see a big wheel with a handle on it, okay? That big wheel with a handle on it will raise and lower my bed. So this here is my bed. So the rollers, the hold down device and the blades there hold the material down and they stay stationary. My bed will go up and down. This part here will go up and down, okay? To determine what size I need, so I've determined how thick my pieces are, I'm going to look at the thickness right here. Okay, so if you look right here, you have a little tape measure. All right, right here. And one side is imperial, one side is metric. I want to use the imperial side. So if I show you here, let me just adjust my camera here. Okay, and I'll zoom in a little bit if I can. Okay, so you'll see on the side right there, you'll see 1 right here. That's 1 inch, okay? So roughly, my piece I just measured is about 1 1/16". So I just come a little bit lower than that. Okay, what I would do now is I would turn the machine on and I would put through my piece now, okay? And on the actual wheel, it indicates which way the wheel will go up. All right, so that means down. I want to turn this way to go down, and I want to turn the other way to go up. You'll feel a big difference on the tension of the piece there, okay? Okay, let me just readjust my camera again. Okay, so the idea of this now, this comes in play now too as well. If I need a piece wider than 4 inches, okay, I want to keep this a little bit thicker, okay? So for example, my desired thickness is 3/4, but my width overall is say 12 inches. Okay, so I want to make a panel up 12 inches wide. This is roughly about, I don't know, 6 inches wide. So I need to add another piece to it. All right. So what I want to do is I want to keep this a little bit thicker than my final measure, my final thickness. Okay. So I would just go down to no less than 7/8. All right. So I would put my piece through once at my 1 inch measurement, and then take it out, adjust it about half a turn on this side there, right? Just about half a turn using my wheel over here. Okay, use a half a turn, bring the table up, put my piece through again. Now I don't want to go any lower than 7/8 because I want to leave some room as my other piece gets glued on later. I want to leave some room so I can put it through the machine again to totally make my whole panel flat. Does that make sense? So my other piece will be the same thickness, and I'll go to the glue table, and what might happen is I might have, let's use this as an example here, I want to make sure I got extra space for my material to do this. Because the glue is very slippery before it dries, so it's going to cause a little bit of a lip there. I want to be able to clean it up on the thickness painter again once it's all glued. Okay? Things to keep in mind here, you'll have some pinching points. What that means is once this piece goes in, if I have it like this, it goes in and it slaps down when the roller's engaged. If my fingers are anywhere in here, my fingers will be pinched to the point where it will not let go. So possibly your finger could be popped. That's pretty disgusting, right? So I want to hold my pieces back here and push it in. I can't give you an example because it's way too loud again, okay? If you find yourself doing this and it won't pull through, remember, push the start button here. That engages the rollers. Okay, so just to recap again, if you're gluing a panel together, you want to keep it thicker than your desired thickness, keep it thicker than 3/4. And if it's under 4 inches, you can go right down to finished size. Okay, pretty safe and simple. If I was doing multiple pieces at once, I'd have a person in front here, all right, feeding the machine here, then the other one on this side. If I'm doing multiple pieces, taking it and then putting it to the side, okay? That will speed things up. Don't assume that one person can use it at a time. If everyone's at the same spot, for example, if everyone's got 3 or 4 of you are ready to use a jointer with at this point right here, okay, one face, one edge is cleaned up, and you got one side still rough. If 3 or 4 of you are ready to use this machine, you can put it all through at the same time, okay? Not meaning one piece has to go in, and then the other piece will go behind it, not beside it, okay? And behind it, and pushing it through. All right, never side by side. All right, that is the thickness planer. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and pretty safe machine out of all the machines we have in the room. You have no accident. You have no. The only hazard is the pinching point right here. So it's pretty easy to avoid. Okay. Thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.